Hello guys, welcome back. So while reading this book today, I found a sentence pretty interesting. So here it goes. Have you ever heard of the poor claim that their reputation has been damaged? Oh, pretty interesting question, isn't it? So we are continuing this book, The Free Voice by Ravish Kumar. And he was basically talking about the defamation cases, and that was the question. Well, the chapter that we are reading today, the title is Being the People, okay? And here he basically talks about the citizenry in our free democracy and how we have been changed as a citizenry as a whole. So let's see. So yesterday we had talked about a new national project for instilling fear, right? So today we will see that Ravish has something, again, a new national stuff for us. So it goes like a new national curriculum was launched in India in 2014. So what exactly is that? So he says that it's about the Hindu-Muslim discourse and the news debates that go on around it. So he tells us that there are various chapters in it, although the overall theme remains the same. Okay, so we get to see a lot of it. Like he has given a few examples here as well. Akbar, Aurangzeb, Tipu Sultan, Ashok, Mandir, Masjid, all the time. That happens in the newsroom these days. So he says that it feels like as if the entire nation is sitting in a history class and all of us are studying history for the very first time. The troll, the bhakt and the news anchor are our historians. The news anchor above all, he says. Then he says that the entire political debate taking place is built around this particular national curriculum. So yeah, the entire political debate just revolves around this Hindu and Muslim dichotomy, and that's what he has described here. We are under the impression that by means of this curriculum we are being connected to history, whereas the truth is we are being deviously cut off from it. So he says that there is no single way of knowing the history. This process doesn't start or end in a straight line or at a single or specific point. It is always a work in progress. So it happens in multi-dimension, as he says. History writing is marked by constant changes and churn. It is not like it's a linear process. So he says now once again there is a move to drag history writing back to the chronicles of kings and queens, because earlier I don't think we were listening a lot about this Muslim rulers, or even there are mention of Tipu Sultan and Queen Padmavati, and Rani Lakshmi Bai and everyone. So he's saying that it has just come back once again. Then he says that through these narratives of the new national curriculum, young hearts and minds are being filled with the flames of hatred. They are being transformed into human bombs walking in our midst. Communalism turns human beings into bombs. We will see the change, not just in our neighbor's child, but also in our own. So he says that when even in a very normal kind of a situation, when a person is a human bomb, or when he or she has turned into a human bomb, they cannot see it in the simple manner that it is. So they will see it in a communal angle all the time. That's what he says. He becomes a participant in the act of killing, a part of the crowd, a part of the mob that kills a Pehlu Khan or a Muhammad Akhlaq or a Junaid Khan, knowing he will never be punished by the powers that be, because that's how it is in today's time. So So he says, as these human bombs increase in numbers in any society or nation, it is not the state that stands to lose, but all of us. Our status and power as citizens will correspondingly shrink. And it's now the time has come, like, we are wary of sharing our feelings on Facebook or any other social media platform, and we hesitate to step out of our house at a certain point of time. We feel intimidated, and our civil rights as citizens have been eroded. That's what he says. So it's like the national curriculum is virulent in its theme, Ravish says, and it has in a way made us less powerful, or it has made us a bit powerless, we can say, as far as our citizenry, as far as the power of citizens of a free democracy is concerned. So we need to deal with it. We should know how to negotiate with history. And then he at one point says that we in India have not educated our citizens on ways to negotiate with history. On contrary, the narrative that is being created as tradition, especially through our television channels, is one of inhumanity. It's not of humanity, it's of inhumanity, he says. So the entire political consciousness of being people of a strong civilization, that is being changed in today's time because of the changing narrative. Then he says that our child may well be saved by the party he owes allegiance to, but we will not get a moment's sleep knowing that our child is a murderer. He again gives a few examples of the mob lynching incidents which were happening, like Pehlu Khan, Junaid Khan, Muhammad Akhlaq. Then he has a very valid point to ask here. They might be our children, our siblings, our husband or wives. Have we agreed to this? When we cast our vote, was this the world we chose? Is this the democracy for which our freedom fighters were fighting for? Let us not turn away from what is happening. The future is grim. Due to the ongoing poisonous Hindu-Muslim discourse, human bombs are being prepared in large numbers out of hatred among the Hindus and out of sheer fear among the Muslims. Our society is being poisoned, and communalism will incubate more in the places where the population density is higher, and these human bombs will be in greater number in those areas. So then he says there are actually many ways to falsify history. There are many new heroes who are emerging these days, and if we learn to negotiate the past, we will no longer be perplexed or fooled by the present. He says, then he gives the example of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel and Jawaharlal Nehru, and how a particular kind of narrative has been built around the animosity between these two people, the latter being the villain, okay, because I think Nehru is possibly the favorite villain of the current regime. But then he says that due to this narrative, due to this trend that is going on of erasing the history, nobody really ever mentions the immense respect and the friendship that Nehru and Patel had, because that doesn't suit their narrative. They will always conveniently and selectively choose the thing that goes with their narrative. So he says that the young minds are becoming more intolerant. They are not really knowing the real history, and there are attempts to erase the history. That's what he says. So in this new and restless India, however, anyone who shreds a few posters at the crossroads become a historian. So he says that basically it has been easier for people to become historians these days. And then he comes to the question that I had begun with. Have you ever heard of the poor claim that their reputation has been damaged? Because this loss of reputation, this defamation cases, all these are basically meant for the elite people, for the ones who are rich. So he says, even if the oceanic gap between the poor and the rich becomes wider, like the chasm between 2 rotis and 20 cakes, let there be no disparity in the matter of measuring loss of reputation. may there be one measure of defamation for everybody. So he says that irrespective of your economic status, the defamation or the loss of reputation should remain same for every citizen of this country. He has given a few other contexts here as well. Again, in the law of defamation and all of that. So we will continue this tomorrow. Till then, thanks for watching. Stay tuned.